everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm doing the if you liked this tag, which is basically where I pick a popular book, well, like kind of popular book, and I recommend a similar but lesser known in most cases book that I think fans of the first book would like the second book. That got really unnecessarily confusing. You'll kind of get the hang of it as I go along, but yeah, let's get into it. So the first one I personally think is the best. I don't know if anyone else has done this before, but I really hope that they haven't, because I was very proud of myself for coming up with this one. And that is, if you liked Splintered by A.G. Howard, then you would love Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. These are so similar and both so good. Yes, yes! So basically, they both take a really beloved fairy tale place that has been just whimsical and fun and just beautiful, and they completely turn that on its head. It's a revisiting of these places, but these places are now, it's Wonderland in this one from Alice in Wonderland, and then Oz in this one from The Wizard of Oz, and both of these places are now very Tim Burton-esque reimaginings of them. They have become a complete wasteland. They're weird, but not like good weird, like they're creepy weird, and they're really like just not the Oz or Wonderland that we know and love. And I just love the retelling of it and kind of the reimagining of it. And I think if you liked this one, you would definitely love this series, because it is just so good. I don't know which one is lesser known, but yeah, oh, so good. And they're both like similar but different, so they're not going to be too similar. So I think you would really love this if you loved this one, and vice versa. This next one I actually have a couple of options for, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So this first option is, if you liked Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, then you would love Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. So much rhyming! Not only are their names the same and also kind of rhyming, but these books both have an awesome kick-ass heroine. So in this one we have Selena, and in this one we have Mira. And if you love these sarcastic, witty remarks of Selena and also her general badassery, then you would love Mira, because she is the exact same. She stands for her own, and she's not taking crap from anyone. Neither of these people will let people mess with them, and I love it. And also we have the whole kind of magical element, magic has gone, that whole element, and the kingdoms are both very intricate and interesting, and I think that's also another similarity. So yes, if you loved this, you would definitely love this, because I loved this, and I loved this. And my second option for this one is, if you liked Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, then you would love Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. So these both have a female heroine who is an assassin, and this one you get much more of the kind of assassin side. You have that kind of general badassery in this one, and this one you don't get so much of the assassin side, you just kind of get a really badass character. But this one is kind of the assassin in action, this one is the assassin not so much in action, but they're both so good and really awesome. I really enjoyed them both. And this one also adds a historical fiction element to it, because it takes place in 14 something, maybe, possibly, I don't know, but it has assassin nuns, like nun assassins, like, come on, I can't get enough of that. I cannot, no. And going off of Grave Mercy, if you liked Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers, then I think you would really enjoy The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. They both have similar covers, for one, and for another, they both kind of, the villages, kind of the whole atmosphere of them reminds me of each other. We have a very different main character in this one than we do in this one, but it's kind of, both of them are running away from a marriage that they did not want, and both of them kind of are making their own in the world. I guess it's more similar than I thought. Both of them are kind of making their own in the world as they run away from this marriage. This one has a more mystery element to it, because you have the two guys that she's talking to, but you don't know which one one is the assassin and which one is the prince that she was supposed to marry. And this one just is really cool because it has the assassins. Like, it's just cool. This next one I'm just going to mention briefly because I haven't actually read one of the books yet, but from what I've gotten from it, I feel like they would be really similar, and that is if you liked Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, then you would love In the Shadow of Blackbirds by Kat Winters. And why I say this one, it's kind of a more historical fiction option of it, and it also has, this one also has old photographs. So if you liked that aspect of this one, I think you would really enjoy this one. I haven't read it yet, so don't hate me, but I'm just going out on a limb here and assuming that is what would happen. This next one I'm sure other people have said because both of these books are pretty popular, but I just wanted to mention it because I wanted to. So if you liked Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, then you would love The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Both of these have the aspect of superhumans and like deadly powers that you have to try and control, and like people running away from people who are trying to get them for their powers. So they are, and they actually kind of start the same too, because it's like they've been imprisoned for so long, but then they're like, oh, we're free now. They're very, very similar. It's basically The Darkest Minds. Both of these, anything with superhumans, you would like if you liked either of these. If you liked The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, then you would love Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott. This basically takes the whole idea of a competition and like a competition to the death, and it turns it into a race, and it adds really cute animals into it. So who would not want like a combination of Pokemon and The Hunger Games? Because I don't know who wouldn't want that, because I would, and that is this book. So some of these I don't have a lot to say about, so I'm just going to do them really quickly and just kind of explain myself very briefly. And this is one of them. So if you liked Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, then you would love Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. These are both completely different genres. This is a dystopian, this is a contemporary, but if you love the 80s pop culture references in Eleanor and Park, you will get an overload of them in Ready Player One. If you liked Serafina by Rachel Hartman, then you would love Talon by Julie Kagawa. This basically takes the idea of humans that can transform into dragons, and it takes it to a modern day world instead of a fantasy world like Serafina. And yeah, they're both pretty good. I didn't love them, but I think if you did, you would love both of them. Definitely. If you liked Paper Towns by John Green, then you would love Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I only liked this one, but I loved this one. If you like the road trip aspect of this, you will love this one because they both have road trips. This one, the road trip isn't as big of a thing, but this one, the road trip is the whole book. So if you like road trips, here you go. You will love it. If you liked Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, then you would love The Effort List by Julie Halpern. And I'm saying only if your favorite part about this book was the bucket list part, because there's a bucket list that she leaves her friend for the rest of summer. The friendship part and the bucket list part, I think you would like in this book. I had a couple of issues with this book, but I did like the aspect of the list and the friendship part. It's both about like a friend leaving, but this one's because her friend has cancer, and this one is just because her friend disappears. She's very aloof. So if you like the list and the whole idea of a friend completing a list for someone else that has been left for them, then yeah, I think you would like both. If you liked The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, then you would love The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. They both are just this whimsical, surreal, kind of magical realism, and it's just so beautifully written, and everything about them is perfect. So yes, I adore this book. I also really, really like this one. Yes, do it! If you liked The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, then you might like Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLera, or you might think they're too similar and hate it, because they are very, 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 very similar. Not gonna lie, it's basically kind of the girl version of this, so I don't know, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. I had a few issues because I felt it was too similar, but just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. If you liked We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, then you would like Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. I'm not sure which one of these is more popular, but they're very similar in the terms that something has happened that was really catastrophic and they're both kind of trying to come to terms with it and figure out what happened and try to live their life again. So it's very much like kind of the psychological thriller, but not really thriller, kind of the psychological aspect of it. If you liked Looking for Alaska by John Green, then you would like Winger by Andrew Smith. They both take place in a boarding school, and they both kind of center around a main character who is really not comfortable with himself and trying to figure out who he is, and they both kind of have a little bit of a mystery aspect to it. This one doesn't take place until a lot later in the book though, but it does have that kind of like heart-wrenching friendship slash relationship aspect to it. If you liked I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, then you would love Everything Leads to You by Nina Lacour. They both contain main characters who are very passionate about what they do in their kind of art. Art is a very main focus of both of these books, except this one it's like art as in designing sets, and this one it's art as in actual art. This one is kind of the more metaphorical and like symbolic version of this kind of, and they both also have LGBTQ aspects and kind of coming to terms with that. And yeah, they kind of have a mystery too because there's this whole thing going on. Yeah, just they're kind of similar. I think you would like them both. And also, if you enjoyed the kind of Hollywood working in the movie industry aspect of this, then you would like Landline by Rainbow Rowell because it takes place in the movie and the TV industry. The main character works in the TV industry, and she is a writer for comedy shows. If you liked Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, then you would like basically every other YA book known to man that is dystopian or fantasy. Yeah, basically. If you liked City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, then you would like Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. They both are an urban fantasy that kind of takes someone who just finds out about this power and they're trying to come to terms with it and figure out what to do. They both have really sassy, funny characters, and they're both just really, really enjoyable. And the last one is if you liked The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, then you would love Angel Fall by Susan E. Now this one is where aliens come and take over the earth, and this one is where angels come and take over the earth. They both deal with a protagonist who is fighting against these things and just trying to survive, and everyone else is dead. They live in like complete isolation. They live in these desolate places and it's completely destroyed because of aliens or angels, and they are actually quite similar and both quite enjoyable. So that's gonna be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, if you don't agree with some of my if you liked this then you'll like that, I'm sorry, that's just how I felt. I don't know, I was thinking of what I like and what I think other people would like. I don't know, these are just my opinions. But yeah, let me know some books that you have read that you think are similar, that people would like if they liked that. Words are so hard. So yeah, that's gonna be all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh, and don't forget to enter my giveaway. I will link it down below. Okay, bye.